When you think of giant piloted robots in an interstellar sci-fi setting, you probably don't think about animals. What's up, everybody? I'm James. Welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, and welcome to a series I'm calling Meet the Totem. This is a clan lore series on the totem animals of the clans. Of the original clans founded, only one would not have a totem animal. The concept of a totem animal is actually kind of like quasi-sacred and important to the clans. So I wanted to do this kind of part zero of sorts, an introductory overview video on what the heck a totem animal is and what am I talking about, before doing one episode per totem animal after this. So let's jump right in. In order to understand what a totem animal is, we got to break down those words. Starting off with the very easy, super obvious one, animal. Chances are you know what that is. But chances are, for a lot of people, in your mind's eye, when you hear the word animal, you think of some mammalian creature, right? Because that's accurate. But we're not necessarily worried about that word in a purely scientific sense here. What is basically referencing is any type of creature that's not a plant and not a human. That is something that has grounds to potentially be a totem animal. So, that is pretty self-explanatory. I just wanted to clear it up before moving forward. Now, when it comes to the word totem, chances are you heard this word before at some point in your life, whether through school or what have you. That is because there are cultures both alive and from the past that make use of something that has been referred to as a totem. Now, the thing is, depending upon which cultural aspect you're looking at, a certain culture or whatever, there might be a slight bit of nuance to this word. But the base core, kind of sterile, universal descriptor of what a totem is still holds true. And since we're not talking about any real society out there, but a fictional cultural setup known as the clans and Battletech, we're just going to look at it in its most basic sense, which is the fact that a totem is something that is symbolic. It is a symbol. A group of people got together, whether it's a town, a tribe, a clan, and decided that something was important enough for a particular reason or reasons, and it has become a symbol, a totem of that group. And that is exactly what's going on here. So totem animals are symbolic animals for the clans. Now, it's written a little, I call it a little wonky, but maybe it's just not wonky. But it can be a little bit cumbersome to understand how the animals were chosen. For the original founding of the clans, we have Nicholas Kerensky, the mastermind behind the whole clan concept. And Nicholas Kerensky ultimately would decide upon totem animals. Looking at what was around in clan space, he would pick the animals that we now know from most of the clans, right? And there were some animals that Nicholas Kerensky was considering but ultimately would pass on. So, for the original clans, at the very least, the animals chosen were chosen specifically by Nicholas Kerensky. So you had this pool of animals, and then certain founders would be paired together to be the leaders of a particular clan, based on, I guess, attributes and whatever else, right? So that's how that worked, in terms of why the animals are what they are. And indeed, attributes of what the animals were and founders that meet that is definitely kind of what went down for a lot of these clans, as these animals were a symbol not just literally in terms of the animal itself, but the demeanor, the attributes, the characteristics considered honorable and true and noble about that animal would go on to help shape the clans themselves, with certain clans taking on more of that concept of embodying the attributes of their totem animal. For example, Clan Smoke Jaguar wasn't looking to become jaguars, but the attributes of that ferocity and aggression they really sought to embody because they really felt it important. And they were known to really embody kind of the attributes and demeanor of their totem animal the most amongst the clans for the most part. Just as a random bit of info. In any case, on top of that, the animals chosen were quite literally symbols of the clans. They would go on to make the name of the clan, that totem animal. So Clan Wolf is a wolf, and Jade Falcon is literally a Jade Falcon, and so on. They would be, albeit stylized, the basis of the symbol for that clan. Certain honorifics and uniform markings and even colorations can be attributed back to the totem animal as well. So it really truly does shape the clan, particularly in the warrior caste aspect of it, because originally the clans were just military forces. They weren't a full on culture in the very, very beginning. Um, but that would quickly round itself out to be that. In any case, that is what a totem animal is for the clan or the clans. Now, what's interesting about the totem animals is that it's not necessarily set in stone. There's a particular clan, Sea Fox, I believe, that had an issue with a rival clan and trying to wipe out their totem animal. In response, they would petition and be able to successfully change their name to the Diamond Sharks. And then eventually they would go on to be Sea Fox yet again. So clans can change their name when other clans would indeed change their name, or at least if they had offshoots, like if the clan kind of split up for reasons, one would retain typically the name, the other could petition and get a whole new name based on a totem animal. So that's pretty interesting. I like that concept. With that being said, the totem animals weren't expected to be like around Clan HQ or anything like that. They would exist purely on the worlds that they could inhabit. And they weren't necessarily sought out to be amongst the clan population, which is good because in the case of some of them, they are sea creatures, and in the case of others, they are vicious predators, and that would be a problem. So they're just kind of left to be, and in some cases there's certain clan rituals that incorporate hunting one down or whatever, but for the most part they're just kind of left be and honored, if that makes any sense. They are important to clan culture. So for example, when Clan Ghost Bear would fully relocate to the inner sphere, they would take Ghost Bear embryos with them, utilizing a modified iron womb to gestate them and basically grow seedling populations, if you will, that they would release onto appropriate planets so they had the right climate on them. Some would take and some would fail, as is the case with wildlife, but the point is that where Clan Ghost Bear went, their totem animal was with them. So it has real big significance to the clans. And that's really what you need to know. Depending upon the clan, and pretty much any clan, when you read about their lore, chances are once you read about their totem animal, specifically, knowing a bit about their lore, you can see the totem animal's ways really have kind of rubbed off in some capacity on that particular clan, which was kind of the idea. And this has led to a very different setup for the clans and kind of feeds into their very kind of alien ways to the inner sphere, partly why the inner sphere thought they were dealing with legitimate aliens, right? They legitimately thought in the very beginning of the invasion that it was aliens attacking them disguised as humans, with mechs, being designed to be like theirs and whatever else. I'm sure having these fantastical names like Jade Falcon and Ghost Bear and Smoke Jaguar and Wolf, coupled with their advanced technology, completely different looking things, crazy elemental battle armor, and societal practices, all came together to kind of help with that confusion in the very beginning. And totem animals definitely played a part in that, being that, well, the clan's symbol and name, and in other cases, other honorifics and the like, are based off a said totem animal. Anyways, with that said, that is kind of the basics of what a totem animal is, kind of how they got their start. Nicholas Kerensky is the one who would have started that. As I mentioned, Clan Sea Fox is an example of a clan changing its name and then eventually changing it back, so you get to do more than one change. Stone Lion is an example of a clan that would come to be that is a name change as well, right, of a different clan. So it's not like it's a one-off thing. We have several examples of this. Anyway, with that said, that's the basics for totem animals. So the rest of the series will be a specific totem animal per video. Now, truth be told, while pretty much most all the totem animals do have some lore on them, the amount of lore they have is going to vary from animal to animal. So what I'm going to do is specifically focus on the totem animal, but we'll talk about the clan a little bit as well, to kind of see how they kind of reflect the totem animal and in what capacity, especially for the totem animals that have very little written on them. So just kind of an FYI there. In any case, with all that said, thanks so much for tuning in and stopping by. Share your thoughts on totem animals in the comment section and let me know your favorite. And is that your favorite clan? Kind of a weird question, but I do suppose you could have a favorite totem animal, but it not be your favorite clan. I don't know. In any case, let me know. And until next time, take care.